Hello, everyone, and welcome to tonight's Caregiver Café. My name is Gina, and I'm a librarian with the San Jose Public Library. And with us tonight is Lisa from our Early Education Department.
Hello.
And we also have tonight as a guest host for our October series, Kathy Wahl. And I will give her a minute to introduce herself in just a moment. But first, I want to go through a couple of ground rules. So to start, I've put everyone on mute, but if you have any questions, please feel free to use the raise your hand function, or you can type your questions into the chat box. You can also provide feedback using the reactions function, and you'll find that down at the bottom of your screen. If you'd like to take a moment now, you can test those features by either raising your hand, giving a thumbs up, or saying hello in the chat box. And a few other ground rules. Because we are a pretty small group, if you want to mute and unmute yourself to talk, that's perfectly fine. But please leave your mic muted if you're not actively speaking. And please do make sure to let other folks finish their thoughts before you jump in. And of course, this is a safe place, so whatever we hear in this room will stay here. And so with that out of the way, I'm going to turn it over to Kathy.
So good evening, everybody. Nice to be here, and thank you very much, San Jose Public Library, for inviting me. Can you actually see the screen? I'm just seeing Zoom. Okay, that's good.
I can see it.
Good. Anyways, my name is Kathy Wahl. I'm delighted to be here. I'm the director of the Inclusion Collaborative with Santa Clara County Office of Education. And I'm not really on the beach, but that's part of my mental health strategies that I do when I'm on Zoom. When I sit and look at a little square of my face and see the beach behind me, it always helps to regulate and kind of calm me down. So I found that's a very valuable strategy for myself during COVID-19 and shelter in place. Anyways, we are honored to be invited as the Inclusion Collaborative to be the host of the series for October every Monday from 8 to 8:45. And the Caregiver Cafes, I think, are an important resource for families and providers within our community. So I'm delighted to be here. October is actually Disability Awareness Month. So we thought it was appropriate to share what the Inclusion Collaborative does and the resources we have that folks in our community can access, especially the caregivers who are taking care of children and adults who may have disabilities. And as always, I like to really stress that the Inclusion Collaborative is all about including everybody, despite abilities or disabilities, into all community environments and educational environments. So hopefully we'll have some nice little strategies for you that will be helpful. So I wanted to, that's me, I'm Kathy Wahl, and you can reach me at kwall@sccoe.org. And I'll show you other ways to do it in a second. But the first and foremost thing is I would like to share with everybody our website. Inclusioncollaborative.org is the website that we have developed over time. Incidentally, the Inclusion Collaborative is actually a department of the Santa Clara County Office of Education. We've been around for 16 years now. Oh, it's just very exciting. We can now officially drive, as we like to say. We started out with very small amounts of seed money from specific different grants, but we had a very forward-thinking associate superintendent who really believed that children, especially preschoolers that were in Head Start, needed to have support if they were to be included. And a mandate of the Head Start policy is that 10% of all their caseload and enrolled kids will have an IEP or an individual education plan. And so Joe Fimiani, way back when, said, we have got to have this and we've got to have the support. So we started out with small amounts of money and really started supporting the birth to 5 population, specifically preschool inclusion. We find that in preschool, kids are really open and adaptable, and they can learn from their peers. They do it very well at any age, but that's such a pivotal time in a child's life. So that was really the initial supports that the Inclusion Collaborative did. But over time, we have aged, and in more ways than one, I might add. But we actually serve birth up to age 24. We actually work with our Opportunity Youth Academy that serves at-risk youth from that are 16 to age 24. So we have found that the need is there. Not only do we support families and children and professionals and educators within Santa Clara County, but we are actually the only inclusion collaborative in the state of California. We are just actually coming off of having our 7th annual Inclusion Collaborative State Conference. So as you can see on our website here, All About Us has lots of good information. We have an equity grant, we have lots of professional development, and we just had our Inclusion Collaborative State Conference. We also have the Warmline, which I'm going to spend quite a bit of time sharing with you because I feel like that is easily accessible by families and by professionals. It's a free phone call, it's a free email, it's a free service. So we have had a lot of COVID-19 shelter-in-place experiences with distance learning and families calling to get information and resources. So I will share more about our Warmline, but I did want to show you these other little buttons right here. This is our Facebook, which you'll see we would have had posted the Caregiver Café on. Oh, can you imagine that? Because we work with our partners at San Jose Public Library. We actually have started tweeting, and who knows, I never thought I would, but our last Inclusion Collaborative State Conference that we had a social media challenge, and we got people to tweet like you wouldn't believe. So that was really exciting that people actually do this. We have a Pinterest page. Pinterest we know is a fun, crafty place to be, and it's also, how much does it cost? Nothing, it's free. And we have over 8,000 pins a month, if you can believe, by teachers and by families and by childcare providers, putting on adaptations and modifications that have worked for them. So again, this is a free resource, and we encourage folks to go there when you're looking for a different way to do things. And then right here, this button here is our YouTube channel, which, believe it or not, we do have our own channel because that's the way people learn now. But we also have lots of PSAs or public service announcements, or 10-minute little blurbs about why inclusion is so important. But we also have trainings and different workshops that we've had available on our YouTube. So I encourage folks to look at our YouTube channel. Also, every year when we do our conference, part of it is virtual. And so last year's virtually streamed different conference sessions, for example, the San Jose Public Library, they're on there. And so you can go and click on that and see them. We just did 55 streamed presentations 2 weeks ago, and they'll be up in another month. And we had all kinds of wonderful, amazing speakers that came. And how much does that cost? Free. We love free. It's free. So I wanted to really make sure that everyone knew about that YouTube channel. And we have quite a few people just forget that it's there. And so I wanted to remind you of that. So
Kathy, if I go to YouTube and just put Inclusion Collaborative in, you'll come up that way too, right? Okay.
Yep. But you can go to our actual channel if you go to our website.
Oh.
And we have, I want to say 300 or 400 followers right now that follow our YouTube channel. So I wanted to just share what the Inclusion Collaborative, we call ourselves the leaders in promoting and supporting inclusion for all children. And so you can actually go to a learn more here, and you can actually go to a video that has a PSA about us. On our website right here, which is not in this picture, is actually a click where you can sign up to be on our email listserv. And so when we have events come out in the community, or we have things that we're doing, or we have something important that happens statewide or federally that affects children and families that have kids with disabilities, we will send out a constant contact. So I encourage you to sign up to be on our website, because there's a ton of things on here that a lot of us forget about. So the different topics we have are all about us, advocacy, education, leadership services, and employment. Oh, that's the Santa Clara County one. No, our little list is up here. And so I'm going to share with you next some information about our Warmline, but inclusioncollaborative.org is the website link, and it's free to go to, so I encourage you to do that. And I happen to know that Joan is on our email constant contact, because I can tell when you're out of the office, because then I get an email in my website on my emails. So it's kind of fun to keep track of people that way. So these are our Warmline support flyers, which are on our website if you go to Warmline, and you can actually print them off. So right here is our Warmline, and you can actually go and print off our Warmline support flyers. We have them in Spanish and English and Vietnamese. And just this past year, First Five has given us some support to also offer our services in Vietnamese. So we feel that's a really important movement for the Warmline. We were able to hire a Spanish-speaking Warmline specialist 2 years ago, and you would be amazed once folks know that Yolanda is here and that she can talk to you, and they know her face. We have family child care providers call us, we have families call us, and the word has gotten out. So our next group of folks that we feel really may be more isolated are Vietnamese only speaking. And we are getting ready to get that person on board. We have a consultant right now who helps us, and she's been amazing. We would just like to get more resources out there. So these are the flyers, and where are they located? On our Warmline. We also have staff that speak a lot of languages. So not only do we have English, Spanish, and Vietnamese, but we have someone who's fluent in Mandarin, and we also have a Korean speaking staff member. And then we're right next door, housed to the Head Start program, Santa Clara County Early Learning Head Start and State Preschool program. And so we can always get folks to answer if we need to. But it's not uncommon for us to get calls in Chinese and to be hearing one of our staff people speaking Chinese when we all work in the office. Right now, we're all working from home. So we do a lot of Zooms and a lot of Microsoft Meet so that we can connect and talk to each other about the families who call. During COVID-19, when it first hit, March 17th was that first day off. Not really. We actually are working more harder. We actually were asked by the superintendent of our county schools, Dr. Marianne Dewan, if we could actually provide services in an extended hours. So we went to 16 hours a day, and we had staff covering 4-hour periods. And in that time, there was a lot of unsettling feelings among families, what's going on. We had many calls about IEPs and IFSPs. I'm not getting my services. So we actually have a triage system now that we work with our different school districts and their special ed department and their special ed program director to be able to call and let them know when a family needs some support in this area in their district so that they're able to get services. Towards the end of April, May, we had a lot of calls about, I don't have any technology, I don't have hotspot, I don't have internet. So we started taking data with the help of our data and evaluations team, and every person who called, we then collected information on if they had digital access to Wi-Fi and do they have enough equipment for each child that's a student. And you would be surprised that a family of 5 has one cell phone to do all their academic work. So we heard a lot of stories about that, and out of this came, you know, the digital inclusion work that's going on, and districts are actually providing hotspots and Chromebooks. We've had Chromebooks that don't work, so they call us for some reason, and we're able to connect with the principal. So it's been a really nice, just a way to see how much the community is out there needing resources, and to have a forum, a Warmline that was already set up with the multiple languages capability. And so that's been really, really amazing. Thank you for clapping, Victoria. Another thing we found that there was a lot of social emotional unrest and distress with families and with educators. And so one of the services that the Inclusion Collaborative does is it writes and produces social stories. And social stories are written in a child's perspective with a lot of pictures and choices to help guide them and understand what to expect during difficult situations. So, for example, the month of wildfires that we had like a month or so ago, we were writing wildfire stories. We actually wrote a Black Lives Matter story because site was needing it. There are a lot of childcare providers actually doing small cohort work, and they would be calling in for us and want specific social stories for their children. Then we had teachers even in middle school and high school asking for social stories, how to regulate at home, how expectations of when mommy and daddy are on a Zoom meeting, and what do we do? So there was a lot of really cool resources were developed by the creative staff that we have for families. And whenever we got a call, we would just think outside the box and start creating a story for them. We also had a lot of requests for individual schedules or daily schedules for kids. And so that's something. Next week we're going to have a session, a Caregiver Café discussion about visual supports. So I'm going to share some of the social stories we have and some of the strategy cards we've had and some of the different schedules that we've created, because doing school at home when your mom and dad are working is really challenging. And so getting kids prepped for that and teaching and sharing what self-regulation looks like has been a really powerful resource, I believe. And then we can do it in Spanish and Vietnamese also. And we've actually had quite a few Mandarin families lately. Then we also had many children who already had disabilities. They were on autism spectrum disorder or ADHD. ADHD and distance learning is a tough go, let me tell you. So there's a lot of real detailed strategies that we can provide for families with the distance learning. Many of our teachers would call us and ask for a social story for a specific child who is having an issue or a harder time with one of the requirements for distance learning. So it's been very powerful to be able to see the impact in the community. And we have amazing staff that just enjoy writing it. We've gotten so good that one of the gals who's never written a social story, she was so proud of herself because in July, a couple of my staff take the month off because no one usually calls the Warmline, and she was writing social stories. So it's actually been really powerful for the staff to be able to support people who need it in their home right now. We also had families who just needed to talk to someone and learn how to take a deep breath. But a lot of the stress came from not having IEP services being supported or delivered. So again, that connection with the school district really helped to bring families and the district staff together because it was a pretty crazy time. Since then, you know, we've got back to school. We have small little cohorts, especially in childcare and Head Start, and those have all needed social stories also. Going back to school and after COVID, how does it feel to go back to school? I do think there's been a lot of trauma in our community. And so really teaching teachers how to be the best engagers or relators and developing a relationship online with their students has been tough. I know the new kindergarten families have felt really at loss, and we had a lot of kindergarten calls early August, late July. How do I enroll? Where do I go? Da, 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 da. So we know the need is out there and parents really want some information. But again, the social stories have been pretty powerful to help people through that. Next, we also offer EPackets of information, which is a nice, easy to read, understandable packet of information about certain diagnoses or different types of strategies that help support kids with disabilities. We find that if you go online and look up autism spectrum disorder, it can be very, very scary. So having something, a nice parent parent-friendly language is very helpful. And so these are some of the, here's an example on encouraging speech in young children. And so we've been able to produce those at a rapid pace. We were already doing them before, we're just doing more of them with more specific information about adaptations and disability support. Social emotional supports have been big. Setting expectations, how to do the daily schedule, positive descriptive acknowledgement, all those types of practices have been really important. We've also, I want to say in August and even into September, we got many, many calls about where can I get childcare for my child with special needs? Where can I get after school care for a child of mine that has special needs? So there's a new resource and referral agency. The Santa Clara County Office of Ed has their new R&R. And so we're working hand in hand with them to develop the list of inclusive preschools. So we've been able to determine which providers have had some training from the Inclusion Collaborative, have experience with certain disabilities, and then connect the parents with those. And that's, they're actually developing a parent portal, which should be available and able to be accessed in the next month or so. So actually, Lisa, that might be a great next host for your November, is the resource and referral staff. And then we had a lot of requests for after school care programs that serve children with disabilities. And again, you know, a child with autism versus a speech delay can look very different. So it's important to know what those providers' experiences are. And we're actually helping the parent portal by calling all the inclusion preschools and after school care programs to get an accurate list and updated. We have found with COVID-19, there have been quite a few childcare providers and centers that have closed. And I know this has been also a big financial drain on families and business. We also, there's an e-packet on community inclusion. Right now, we're not going out in the community, but we have like resources. Where do they have sensory friendly movies, for example? What kind of hairdressers will take a child that may have sensory needs? I know cutting hair can be very exciting. Dentists that have experience working with children with special needs. So those are all the community inclusion resources that we can provide. And we try to keep those lists up to date so that families can get a good idea of who's out there and who can support them, and at least have a list to work from. We do, when we get callers in and someone tells us about a wonderful childcare provider or a childcare center, it's been really amazing. You know, we'll call that site and get their information and add them to our list. Because a lot of it is who you know, right, in Santa Clara County, and who has a good resource. And many of our callers have been amazing as far as the resources that they've been able to gain. So we like to share that with families. Any questions at all that you can think of, Lisa, right now?
Could you just tell us real quick for the recording, Kathy, what a social story is?
A social story is a story written in a child's language, so easy to understand with pictures, and it offers choices, but the topic is typically doing something that's a little more difficult or can cause some anxiety. One of our favorite social stories is going to the dentist. And even adults need social stories for the dentist because we don't like those people in our mouths. So we can actually say, here's what the dentist's office looks like. And there's a picture. When I go in, I'll sit in this big chair and it shows you the chair. There'll be some noise in my mouth. It might sound like da-da-da. So it just gives a lot of background information, because when we know what to expect, we tend to be able to handle it better. When we're surprised, So I know many adults who need social stories on a regular basis. And so we do that by telling them what's going to happen. And so a social story, especially kids who are on the autism spectrum disorder, they're super visual. So we can have pictures and they can see their face in the classroom. They can see their teacher's face. It just makes it that much easier for them to do it. And they may not, actually walk into class the first day without having some issues, but they'll actually get used to it and be more open to trying it if they've had that social story read to them. Very powerful. I mean, it's amazing how that works. But social stories were written originally for kids and adults on the spectrum because they do need to know what's coming next. They don't often hear a message, but they'll see a message much better. So kids in general and adults, we tend to be much more visual, which is why visual supports are so powerful. And I'll share some with you next week. But a visual support is actually the third thing, and it's not you saying, wash your hands. It's the expectations that are saying wash your hands. And then it doesn't become like a power struggle between the adults. It's the third party expectations that are saying it.